And welcome back to No Half Neutral. I'm your host, Georgia Hawthorne.
And I'm Andy. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year indeed. It's been 8 days, and I think I'd like to unsubscribe from whatever the hell this year is gonna be, Andy.
Oh, come on, Georgie. Be an optimist.
Meet an optimist. Come on now. Yeah, folks. Seriously, I hope you all had a great holiday break and got to spend some time with family over the holidays. But after the holidays, and frankly over the holidays, things have gotten messy. And we're gonna start off by acknowledging what happened in Minneapolis yesterday. I'm gonna read the statement from the Montana Democratic Party to start us off, just so it is crystal clear where we're standing on this. And then this went out on social media and to the press earlier today. It says, "What happened yesterday in Minneapolis should never happen on an American street. Renee Nicole Good was tragically shot and killed in broad daylight by an ICE agent while in her vehicle. On circulating video, Good can be seen waving officers' vehicles around hers before agents aggressively rushed the car for no apparent reason. Agents were at the side of the vehicle and without cause attempted to open the door. When Good began to drive away, she was immediately shot 3 times. She died at the scene. This was not a self-defense shooting. It was a reckless, lethal action that murdered an American citizen, created a widow, and left her 3 young children alone and without a mother. The Trump administration's attempt to sanitize and justify this killing is abhorrent and a betrayal of every single American citizen. ICE has become a federal agency with virtually unlimited power. Their unchecked aggression and lack of accountability have made our streets more dangerous. Masked men with guns have now murdered an American citizen, and while the president slanders her name, our Republican delegation says nothing. Will Dane, Zinke, Downing, and Sheehy allow Montanans to get gunned down in the street next? As Americans, we cannot let this violent act stand. ICE agents should not be vigilantes that Republicans believe are above the law. We demand a full, transparent investigation, and the agent responsible should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And I would I don't do this very often because I know it's difficult to handle, but I would really encourage everyone to go watch the New York Times' video analysis of what happened in Minneapolis. They break it down clip by clip, they slow it down, they show you all of the different angles that are out there on the internet. Like, it's really the most
Mm.
comprehensive piece of evidence that we have at this point. Yeah, and I mean, I can't speak for you, but yesterday was tough. Yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard about this yesterday afternoon and, of course, just saw the videos right away scrolling through social media. And then the next thing I saw was Christy Nome in a cowboy hat with a completely different story. And I'm like, the video I just watched is very clear. And then I watched it again. And then I watched more videos. And you have people like Christy Nome and Donald Trump spinning this into something completely different,
Yeah.
making it the victim's problem, the woman who died and was murdered.
The president called her a domestic terrorist.
That is insane. Like, I mean, I've never trusted this administration. I've never trusted Donald Trump or Kristi Noem, but like, there's there's no defending them. They're liars. They have no empathy. Like, an American citizen was gunned down by their employees, essentially, and they're just trying to protect themselves. Like, this isn't how you lead a country. This is fascism at its finest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't have words. I'm brokenhearted. I can't imagine what the people, in Renee's family are feeling like, the people in her community in Minnesota. Um, Gosh.
It's I mean, it's horrible, and, like, people are saying that, like, she tried to run him over and so on and so forth, and, like, if you look at the tires of the video, and that's why I say go watch the New York Times analysis because it allows you to zoom in so far, you can literally watch her tires point away from the agents because she
Trying
was
to Yeah,
trying to drive away.
right.
And, like, the craziest part is that you literally watch her wave people through. Like, you watch her, like, stick her arm out the window and, like, wave the cars through because she knows she's in the way. And then they just get out of the car and, like, barnstorm her car. and then, like, 15 seconds later, she's dead. It's the most insane thing. It happened in broad daylight in the middle of an American street. Like, does this make anybody feel safer? Genuine
Not at all.
question.
Not at all. This agency has been run by chaos agents. Like I just want to like
Yeah.
pinpoint this on Christy Nome right now because like she's been putting out like incentives to hire everyday Joes that are on the side of MAGA to apply and join ICE. Good paying job. You don't need any sort of like
Yeah.
police training. Like, no, if you want to join us, like, come on down. We'll get you a good paying job. Like, these people don't have any training to be doing what they're packing
Okay.
guns that kill people.
Yeah.
It
And
doesn't make sense.
I was looking at it today just to make sure that I wasn't actually going crazy. Um, the Department of Homeland Security's policy on use of force, meaning a gun, if someone is just driving their car at you, you don't get to shoot them. Like, that's what it says. They like if they have another if they are presenting another deadly weapon or another means of causing you harm while in the vehicle, then the situation changes. But the protocol is to just, I don't know, get out of the way. The protocol is not to shoot 3 times through the windshield.
Mhm.
And in the time it took for him to draw his gun and fire, he could have just stepped out of the way.
Right. And let her go because there apparently
Right.
wasn't any need to keep her.
Yeah.
She was just
She was an observer. She
driving.
wasn't the target of an investigation.
Yeah.
Like, she would be
Crazy.
alive right now, and it would not be hard for the president or the Secretary of Homeland Security or literally anybody to be like, "Hi, this agent has been put on administrative leave effective immediately." Like, there will be a full investigation. We do not condone this behavior. Like, that's not hard.
What is the current status of said agent that murdered this woman? What's going on with him? I haven't read much
Well,
as of recent.
so there's been conflicting stories. Shocker.
Right.
So if you watch the video, he like shoots into the car and then walks away, gets into another vehicle and leaves this appears to be fine. But then the president in his statement says that the agent is in the hospital. But
For
you
what?
mock him like from getting hit by the car.
Okay.
Yeah, like in the video, you just watch him walk off.
Huh. Ugh. I don't know. You can't make this shit up, I guess.
The other crazy thing about this whole thing is so obviously, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey and Governor Tim Walz both came out pretty strongly against this, and they had been calling for an investigation. I don't feel like that's a crazy thing to ask for when one of your citizens gets shot by a federal agent. But now, so as Minneapolis and Minnesota police and law enforcement are trying to figure out what exactly happened yesterday, the feds are now blocking them from evidence. Um, like they're restricting access to materials and that kind of thing. And so Minnesota's kind of running into all of these blockages when it comes to trying to figure out what happened. And like, I just have no words. And I know everyone's kind of looking for someone to have the words. Um, but this is just so unbelievable and how the Republican Party has completely permitted it and defended it
Yeah.
is disgusting.
Yeah. The murder of an American citizen by a federal agency. Like, I'm not saying that it's okay by any means, but like what they should do is just take accountability and move on. Like that's what happens. Sometimes shit happens, right? And like this is bad shit, but like we all know what happened.
Right.
The feds need to take accountability for what happened because it's all there on tape. In my opinion, they're lying to her is just going to put them in further hot water.
Yeah.
And like, it doesn't make the people of this country feel any safer.
Because wouldn't you know it, we don't just have domestic problems, Andy. Shortly after the new year, President Trump decided to launch a full-blown operation in Venezuela. He bombed the capital of Caracas and kidnapped President Nicolas Maduro and his wife in the middle of the night.
Right.
Um, Maduro's a bad guy. Trump doing this is also bad. Two things can be true at once.
Hmm.
Uh, but like kidnapping the president of a foreign country is wild.
It's wild. Yeah.
Does we not understand that there's like precedent that like especially when the United States does something, it sets a precedent that like, oh, this is fine.
Yeah. Like the
The
United
US
States
is
does it,
fine.
so it's okay. Like we've done this before as a country, so we can do it again.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we're already in all of these issues. And I think the biggest issue with the whole Venezuela thing, most of this is for oil. I hope everyone's figured that out by now. And they
Yeah.
tried to convince everybody that it was for drugs when they were like bombing boats in the Caribbean. Um, but it's not necessarily for that. It's because Donald Trump wants Venezuelan oil. And it's come out now that he had looped the oil executives into this plan ahead of the
Mhm.
operation.
Wow.
So he basically called up the oil C-suite guys and said, "Hey, I want to go into Venezuela and take it over. Do you guys want to run the oil? Does that sound like a good plan to you?" And of course, they were like, "Yeah, that sounds awesome." Um, but the problem, well, obviously that's problem A, but also problem B. Congress was not notified
Mhm.
at all. There was no congressional approval. There was no, "Hey, heads up, I'm going to do this." Congress was not told at all, but the oil executives were. How can I make it more clear that he's literally only doing this for his billionaire buddy?
Right. Well, and now what Congress needs to do is pull their big kid shorts on and make the president accountable. Like, they don't need to stand for this. They have power too. And
Mhm.
so they need to take Donald Trump to an account here. Like, I know there's people celebrating the fact that Maduro is no longer in power, and generally, I think that's a good thing. However, we went into their country, attacked people, killed people, got Maduro. Okay. But his next in line is now in power. So
Mhm.
it's a continuation of the same regime anyway.
Right.
And
There's
the
no
woman
point in
who
all that.
legitimately won their last election is not the one taking power, the one who was duly elected. So just another reason why, like, Trump just wants the clout of taking Maduro out
Yeah.
so he can then take over the oil, be an imperialist, something the United States hasn't been in the business of for like, what, 150 years?
Yeah, wild. I just the other thing is that there's a weird beef with Trump and Venezuela, and part of it kind of started when he decided that he needed the Nobel Peace Prize.
Mhm,
So the woman who won the Nobel Peace Prize this year, her name's Maria Machado, and she is the opposition leader
mhm,
in Venezuela. And so I think a lot of people kind of assumed that when Maduro left, we would appoint the opposition or someone in the opposition, because the opposition who actually won the election before Maduro just came into power. And that did happen. And there is comment from White House officials that said if Maria Machado didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize, she would be president of Venezuela right now. Or alternatively, if Trump had won and she had not won, she may have been put into power in Venezuela. And so,
wow.
like, he's literally like high school girl vendettaing geopolitics. I have no other way to put it.
Yeah. Well, he
But
holds a grudge.
I think he just likes to collect shiny things.
Yeah. Well, the White House has played
What
it
up?
bold now.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think the Senate knew you were gonna come to them today, Andy, because they did put their big kid pants on today,
They
actually.
did. Okay. Tell us about it, Georgie.
Um, the Senate advanced a war powers resolution today, and there's been a couple of these that have come up in the last couple of months. Mostly when we started getting involved in the Caribbean with Venezuela in the first place. Um, but Senate basically said, "All right, Donald Trump, you don't get to do this again. Like, Congress has the power to declare war, and we're tired of you going over our heads. You have to ask next time." And there were 5 Republicans that voted for it. Uh, None of them were Danes or Shiki. I don't think that's surprising. Um, those guys would vote to do literally anything that Donald Trump told them to at this point. Because the thing that really makes me mad about these 2, specifically when it comes to this resolution, is that, like, that is the whole purpose of checks and balances, is Congress declares war. Like, the president can do diplomacy and all of that stuff, but Congress gets to declare war. So, like, you are allowing him to completely revoke you of your power. So what are you
So,
doing?
with what they did today in the Senate passing this, it only needed a majority vote to pass. So, if 5 Republicans voted for it, that would be 52 to
Mhm.
pass
Yeah.
it.
Passed 52 to 47. So the 60 vote threshold that everyone always thinks of in the Senate, that's what's called a cloture vote, and that's the vote to vote.
Got it.
So that's the vote that ends discussion. And then this is the final vote where that only requires a simple majority generally. Uh,
Mhm.
when you start doing money bills and things like that, those numbers can change.
So, this will ultimately like demand that the president goes through Congress for approval before attacking or going to war with another foreign country.
I
So,
believe it is specifically Venezuela in this resolution.
oh, okay. So
Which,
it's a Band-Aid is what it is.
yes,
Temporary.
um, I'll take the Band-Aid right now, I think.
Sure.
I would
Sure.
take a little bit of a check on him over no check
Yeah.
whatsoever. Uh, but I think it's interesting because the Senate has by and large been fairly content with
Yeah.
letting Trump do whatever he wants.
This entire term. Yeah. They've let him
Yeah.
go.
And
Like, rein him in. You have power too, Congress.
and they piss him off now because Donald Trump has called for all 5 of them to not be reelected. Oh.
Wow.
Ah. You say not today one time, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you're not good enough for him. It's funny how that works, huh?
Well, only like a dictator treats his own party in that way, where like if you don't vote in line 100%, then there's the threat of being primaried on you. And he
Mhm.
vocally like goes after you if you don't vote with
Yeah.
him. Like,
Like, immediately on for social, just like ran.
yeah.
But it's been a busy day in Congress all the way around, because the House actually decided to do their jobs today too. Um,
I'm sensing some optimism.
a little bit. So, right before, the House went on holiday break, before the new year ended, they had pretty much secured the votes they needed on another discharge petition.
Mm.
And where we heard this term the first time was with the Epstein files, where you can like go around the speaker and force a vote on the floor. And so they did this with an ACA subsidy extension. So the subsidies have already expired, but there's a way to like reinstate them like for the rest of the year. And so that discharge petition saw its vote today in the House. House voted 230 to 196 to pass a 3-year extension of ACA subsidies,
Wow.
which is fairly significant, I would say.
That is because we've been in this fight for months. That's why the government shut down.
Mhm.
Wow.
17 Republicans joined
Okay.
up, which for the House, who we've been pulling 1, 2, 3, 4 off of, for 17 to come off in this vote is pretty significant. And then it also says that 5 Republicans did not vote at all.
Mm.
Um,
Well, thank you to those 17 Republicans for siding with Democrats because we believe people should have health care.
yeah,
We appreciate that. Thank you.
welcome, welcome.
And thank you
What?
to the, what, 180 Democrats that have
Yeah,
been
every
pushing
Democrat
for
voted
this
for it.
always.
But yeah, so that will have to go over to the Senate side, and the Senate has been working on their own version of an extension. So you'll be able to see if the Senate will modify the House version or create their own version and send it back to the House. Um, but I wouldn't say hope is lost quite yet on ACA subsidies. I feel significantly better about it today than I did before we headed into the holidays. Um, and I think a lot of that is the public pressure campaign, to be so honest with you.
Yeah.
Democrats and from elected officials, and we have all just constantly been sounding the bell about how much people's health insurance is going to go up. And it's finally starting to break through a little bit.
Yeah. People have really coalesced around this issue because it's important. Again, we had the longest lasting government shutdown back in October because of this healthcare issue,
Right.
extending the ACA, Affordable Care Act. And again, this goes back to Donald Trump and his just petty ass childhood just behavior about like not wanting to extend the ACA because it was Obama's legislation, right? Like it's so petty and stupid. And, you know, it's unfortunate that we're living in a time that, we're governed by the whims of this buffoon's emotions. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox.
Don't trust me. I could rant about that man all day long. He'd probably call me the bad collect. Um,
Yeah.
but the fact that I would say he should go to a doctor. I think he should be able to go see a doctor without going into bankruptcy. And if that makes me radical, so be it.
Right.
Um, but the Montana Republicans seem to have woken up this year as well. There's been 2 mailers that have been floating around Montana households this week.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't gotten either of them. I wish I did so I could show them to you, but Ryan Zinke sent one out and Christi Jacobsen sent one out, and both of them are absurd. So in Zinke's mailer, he claims that he delivers affordability for Montanans. He delivered affordability wins like historic tax relief, family farms protected, funding for rural health care, and the child tax credit.
Well, he's a big old liar.
Because I mean, I don't feel like any of those things are all that much better.
Those are like the talking points that we've been grilling him on this last year that he hasn't been
Yeah.
supporting. So
Yeah.
these are outright lies on this mailer, right?
Yeah, the cognitive dissonance here is actually wild.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna break all of these things down. So Zeke claims that like he delivered more take home pay and historic tax relief for Montanans.
Even though this like big beautiful bill is ultimately giving a tax break to the wealthiest of the wealthy, and
Uh-huh.
those making like the median age and down are actually paying more in taxes.
Yes. Um, I think what he's trying to reference here is the no tax on tips and overtime provision that was included in the Big Beautiful Bill,
Sure.
which pretty you'll probably see some extra dollars from that if you have a tip job or you work a lot of overtime. But you're still going to be paying more. It's
Right.
not going to make any difference.
because of how this new tax bracket is set up.
If you have one working adult in your household and they make minimum wage, you will lose about $1,200 a year in taxes.
Right.
The median household in Montana loses $1,700 a year. But that wealthy tax break you were talking about, Montanans who make over $1,000,000 a year, I don't know anybody like this personally, but apparently they're out there. Um, they'll see an average tax break of about $79,000 a year
Wow.
without having to work the tipped job or the
Right.
overtime shift. Like, they just get that money handed to them for nothing.
That's insane. That's insane. Well, and truly, like in the grand scheme of things, like I agree with the no tax on tips thing. So did Kamala Harris, who ran against Donald Trump. That's great. But like what? Maybe 1 out of 10 people in the country work a tip job. So
Right.
not everybody is getting to keep their tips because they don't get tips.
Right.
Hello?
But then so he claims that he protected family farms, and what he's getting at here is the elimination of the estate tax.
Family farms in Argentina?
Well, yeah. Um, well, I believe what he's trying to get people to connect with this is the elimination of the estate tax.
Mm.
So when like you pass away, you don't have to pay tons and tons of money in taxes to give your farm to your kids.
Mm.
Because like the farm's worth a lot of money and it's like a big property and it gets messy legally.
Sure.
And they pretty much eliminated that tax as far as I understand it. Um, but what I don't understand, that's all fine and dandy.
Hmm.
If I can't keep the farm until I die, the death tax doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
If I can't afford to have kids to give the farm to, the death tax doesn't matter to me.
Right.
Because, like you were saying about Argentina, as the president is sending $40 billion to Argentina to bail them out and saying that we're going to import a ton of Argentinian beef, Zeke
It's
didn't
going
say
to
one
kill
word.
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of family farms because they can't compete with that.
Yeah, Zeke didn't say a word.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, he made his statements about how he didn't think this was good for Montana or anything, but like, he's just paying lip service.
Yeah.
If he wanted to throw a fit to the president about that, he could. He's a freaking sitting congressman. That's his whole job.
No, I grew up in farm country, and the Republican Party has done nothing for small time farmers for years. The number of small time farms from the time I was born in the early 90s to now, there's been thousands of people in this state alone that have quit farming because they can't afford to do it. Farming has become so corporate over the last 3, 4 decades that small farmers, there's not a lot left. And
It's
so,
hard.
therefore, there's not a lot of like children coming behind them to take over the family farm. So, like, while that's fine and dandy, they eliminated the estate tax. Like, are we going to have that many small time farmers left to benefit from that?
No, right. Like, is farming going to continue to be generationally successful? Because it's not appearing that way. Because you talk like you bring in tariffs and the bailout. Like you talk about how farming has become really corporate and like small family farms are being bought out. That is who most of the bailout went to.
Yeah.
It
My
wasn't,
dad my
yeah, it
dad
wasn't
was a
your
farmer,
neighbors.
and he quit farming 20 years ago because he couldn't afford to farm anymore. So, like, great. They eliminated the estate tax that would have benefited me and my brother, but dad had to quit farming 20 years ago. See what I'm getting at here?
Mm,
Like, support the
yeah,
farmers now. Don't wait till they die.
we're halfway through. But is it clear that he's lying yet? Good lord. He also claims that he secured funding for rural healthcare. And what he's talking about here is the rural healthcare grant that was awarded to Montana. Montana got like the fourth highest grant or something. And it's $233 million one time for our rural healthcare systems. In comparison, when Zinke voted for the big beautiful bill this past summer and all of the Medicaid cuts, Montana is going to lose about $5.5 billion over the next decade in Medicaid money.
Wow.
And he gave us 233 million with an N and said, "Hey, this helps, right?"
That's insane. The fact that Ryan Zinke and his Republican cronies have been fighting the extension of the Affordable Care Act, which provides ultimately assistance in the form of Medicaid to these rural hospitals that rely on that money, and like turns around and says he's been helping rural healthcare. That's complete and utter bullshit. He has not.
No, no, he's literally lying. So because of these Medicaid cuts, there are up to 8 rural hospitals here in Montana that are at risk. It's said that 1 in 4 nursing homes across the country are at risk of closing. Basically, the TLDR is that Ryan Zinke slashed the ever loving hell out of Medicaid, which is a major funder of rural healthcare, and then handed us pennies back to do it, and kicked off like 50,000 Montanans off their healthcare in the process. So, yeah, sure, he might have given us $233 million, but that make up for literally anything else he's done this year? Big laugh.
That's infuriating. I don't get it.
I mean, it would be like if I bought a brand new 85-inch TV, and then you came over and, like, kicked a hole in the middle of it, and then got me a 32-inch monitor and said, "But I replaced it."
That's a great analogy. Yeah, you're right.
"No, you didn't. That's not my TV. What is that?"
You made it worse, and now you're taking credit for not actually making it better. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah. And then he claims credit for increasing the child tax credit. Yes, it went up an extra $200 a year, which is significant for some people, but it also has a lot stricter requirements, documentation requirements, income requirements, that kind of thing. Um, but if Zinke wants to talk about like helping kids, securing kids' futures, let's talk about the Head Start in Whitehall that closed
Mm,
because we cut the federal grant from it.
mhm.
Let's talk about the 31,000 kids that you didn't want to feed because they were on SNAP during the shutdown.
Right.
Let's talk about 76,000 kids who rely on Medicaid to go to the frickin' doctor. Let's talk about those kids. I'm so tired of him lying like this and getting away with it.
That's nuts. Another thing I don't understand is Republicans have the majority in all branches of government right now, but like also in Congress. And this has been the most ineffective Congress we have ever seen. Like they've passed the least amount of legislation. They're just like destroying federal agencies and not giving money to the assistance for American people, like you just outlined. Like they're not doing shit. And they have the majority in the House.
Yeah.
It
I
doesn't
mean,
matter.
like, yes, the child tax credit increased $200. Yes, that $200 might make a difference in your life. But does that $200 make more of a difference than knowing that you're gonna be able to put food on the table next week?
Or have healthcare for
Yeah.
your child.
Because, like, to me, that exchange is not worth it.
Totally. Yeah.
So, don't let Zinke get away with it. Don't let him lie on his ass like this because he's not doing anything for any of us.
Right. And coming up in November, you have the opportunity to vote him out.
Mhm. And as of today, there are 4 candidates in the Western District race. The party's gonna stay out of primary. We're gonna remain neutral all the way until we have a winner there, and then we will support that candidate 100%. Um, if you're curious, you can go look up FEC filings, you can go look at local media. There's been plenty of stories about who's running. But
We got a
yeah.
great batch of candidates.
Another mail Montana's got in the last couple of days was from Christi Jacobsen, who's our Secretary of State
Mm.
and first and foremost our elections lady. She's the lady makes all the calls about how the elections run. And she sends out this mailer with a photo of her and President Trump, and it says, "Only citizens should be allowed to vote." My girl, I don't know how to tell you this. Considering you run the election, only citizens can vote. That's how
Right.
it works.
Right. I would like her to tell me how many non-citizens are voting in Montana and getting away with it, because hypothetically, that's not reality. But if they were getting away with it, isn't she the one that's accountable to, like, letting that happen?
Yeah,
Like,
she
she's been in the position for years, and apparently
well, this
there's
is her second term.
yeah, this is her second term, people. Apparently, if this is continually a problem, it's her fault. But it's not a problem. It's a fabricated Republican
Yeah, it's
talking
literally
point.
just spin. Yes, folks, people who come here illegally, they cannot vote in our elections. It's already illegal. They don't have the documentation. They're not going to be able to register. No one's handing out ballots on the side of the road. Our elections are secure. They always have been.
Mhm.
Well, Andy, do you have any fun stories from break to tell to go along with all of this news?
Fun stories. Well, I had a lovely holiday break. We went back to Culbertson to visit my family out in Eastern Montana, hung out with my nephews and parents and my grandma. Um, yeah, came back, had a Christmas with the family here in Drummond, and yeah, just kind of enjoyed the holidays. I ate way too many cookies.
Yeah, me too.
Um, yeah, just relaxed. It
Nice.
was chill.
I think we all kind of needed that.
Yeah.
I made it a point to try to stay off of my phone as much as humanly possible because
Smart.
I spend way too much time on social media. Um, so while I was not on my phone, I was getting my butt kicked at Showdown.
Ah, there you go.
I am new to snowboarding. I don't know very much about it. It was like my third time. But my college best friend had flown it from she's living in Ohio now. And she was home in Colorado and she was gonna go skiing, but the mountains in Colorado have no snow.
Oh,
Like their resorts aren't open, and when they are open, there's so many people that like you can't really
sure,
go. And
sure.
so she was like, "Can we please, please, please go?" So she came up to Showdown. I mostly just tumbled down the hill. Did not break anything. So I'm gonna
That's
call it success.
good.
But yeah, it was fun. I think it'll be a fun winter thing, but I do need it. So
Yeah. We need some more moisture up in these hills.
in what world is it 50 degrees in the middle of January?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
This
like
winter
it.
is quite weird. We need more snow.
So true. All right, folks, we'll call the delegation because someone's got to hold them accountable. And after you're done doing that, break or snow, and we'll see you next week.
Later.
Bye.